Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show, episode 166. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Brian. What's up, Brian?
Hello.
Graham.
Hey, yep.
What's up, Mike?
Yo!
Old Doc.
Hello.
Welcome. What's up, Monk?
Still coming in.
What's up? All right. What's up, Beefhead?
Good evening, how are we all doing?
Tim. What's up, Bill? Okay. While you guys are popping in, word just broke, okay, that Warner Brothers is doing a Batman movie, okay? It's because people are questioning with that DC list, why didn't they announce a Batman movie? So, in 2019, there's going to be a solo Batman movie called The Batman. No word on if Ben Affleck is going to be Batman or what's going to happen, but they're going to write the script. It's going to be going into development. Affleck said he may want to direct, but it won't go into production until 2017 for a 2019 release.
That's a reboot.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a reboot. Probably got nothing to do with Batman vs Superman.
Okay.
That's a reboot on top of that. So let's go with Bill first.
Well, I'm just sick and tired to death of reboots.
Right.
So, yeah, I've not been excited about this one for a long time.
Is this the backup plan if Batman vs Superman sucks, that they're already gonna reboot it beyond that, the whole entire universe in 2019 when it's not even established yet? Go.
Yeah. It's just a disaster. I'll wait and see it when it's on Vidix.
How could you reboot something if it wasn't even created yet? I don't know. I'll let Beefhead just on that take. What do you say?
I don't know, maybe it's not a reboot. Yeah, the gut instinct to say is, yeah, a reboot, but I mean, if you're working on the schedule, they're going to do, what, Green Lantern and The Flash.
Movie together.
What year are they doing Man of Steel 2? They're doing it. Is it 2018?
18.
So then,
yeah.
so they're already hoping to have established their Justice League universe by that point, to be honest with you. So, I mean, maybe they're going to rehash the origin story, but still keep Affleck within the universe. So, I mean, I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know. It just seems very arse about face way of doing things, to be honest with you.
Now, is this to give Gotham some breathing room, maybe, the TV show? Where they just don't go with it? Or has something to do anything, Graham? What do you think?
No, man. The Gotham thing, I'll be lucky to get 2 seasons. That'll be done by then. That'll be cancelled.
Think so, huh?
Oh yeah.
May not even last one season.
How can you? Well, I'm just gonna get the benefit of the doubt. Just saying, you know, even some real crappy shows, they managed to squeak a second season. So, you know, I mean, how you can base a full season on Commissioner Gordon's beyond me, especially when there's no set villains.
Exactly. People are going to tune in wanting to see Batman. There's going to be no Batman. They're going to be sorely disappointed.
What do you have to say, Mike?
Well, that little poof here on the side of Beef's head up there, awesome. I love the look. Come on, guys.
It's flock of seagulls, man.
That is awesome with a capital A. What do I have to say about the Commissioner Gordon show?
Everything. Commissioner Gordon, Batman, reboot, 2019.
I don't have any hopes with the Commissioner. Batman, I don't know. It's hard to say, man. I mean, I'll see it. It would be nice to see a nice, good, fresh Batman movie, but I don't know. We got the whole Superman versus Batman thing. You know? Shit, I'm looking forward to the Star Wars movies, man. I really am. More than anything. And the next X-Men movie with Apocalypse.
Right. Let's just stick with Batman first. Old Doc, anything you have to say on that?
No, I haven't seen Batman since the second Michael Keaton movie, so I probably won't see this either.
Tim?
But again, DC's just doing whatever Marvel does. They just, that's all they can do. They're just sad, really, because, I mean, if they wanted to, they could make good movies. If they wanted to, they could make good TV series, but they're so busy trying to do whatever Marvel's doing that they don't know what they're doing.
Monk?
Next year in 2015, Affleck is scheduled to write, direct, and star in a movie called Live by Night, which will be released in 2016. If that movie tanks or bombs, you're not going to see him in a 2019 Batman film.
Correct.
So they're relying on that film project to be a hit. They're relying on Batman, Superman to be a hit. They're relying on too many ifs, and it's not the way to run things. I'd like to see another Batman film. I don't know if I want to wait until 2019 to see one. Where a Batman solo film, I mean, not Batman Superman, just Batman solo.
And obviously they're relying on, you don't want to mention it, but they're relying on the guy's health holding up as well.
Oh, yeah. He got hurt already, supposedly, right?
Yeah.
Brian?
Yeah. Sorry, I was just listening on something else.
Drop again. Yeah.
Oh my God, Brian. You kidding? You didn't hear anything?
No, but honestly, I'm not looking
Somebody's
forward to
watching Doctor.
I'm not looking forward to either of them.
Okay.
Because because Gotham just seems like it's gonna suck badly, and I just don't really see Ben Affleck as a Batman at all.
Right. Okay. That's respectable.
They may as well put Jay and Silent Bob in Arkham somewhere.
Yeah. All right. So let's continue what Mike said about Days of Future Past, X-Men. Now, Old Doc, you did have the opportunity to see this movie. What did you think?
I liked it.
Okay. Anything did really stand out in the movie that you really liked it? Like, what did you like about it?
Well, I thought it was a good story. I mean, it wasn't a true adaptation of the actual comic, Days of Future Past. But I mean, considering the changes they made, it was entertaining. I enjoyed it. It fit in with the X-Men universe for the movies. I'm a big comic book fan, but I enjoyed it. It was good. And overall, I'd say it ranked pretty high in comparison to the other X-Men movies.
Right. And you think it fixed everything that was a mistake that they made with the movies and stuff like that?
Not everything, but a lot of it.
Right. Well, I know that Hugh Jackman went out to say that he can't wait to fight Deadpool now that the universe is altered, meaning he knows something that we don't, that Deadpool didn't die, which is, we just don't know what timeline it is, like what really happened. But that's a sign that, that is fixed with the whole Deadpool thing. What do you think, Mike? I mean, you think we're going to have Ryan Reynolds as back as Deadpool because of this Days of Future Past thing?
You know what? It would be cool. And like I was saying earlier, I think it was Mr. Marvel I was talking to.
Right.
Looking forward to it because it could bring in the, the Four Horsemen. All that going on. We could get Archangel.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would be.
It could be a thing too because he could be reviving the dead mutants that they said were operated on by Trask. Like it could be something that he could bring them back as Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Yeah, I think it's going to be something cool. I'm looking forward to it, man. I think they're on a roll after this movie.
Brian, good.
Well, I wasn't sure if Wolverine Origins was connected to the X-Men films. Like before Days of Future Past.
Well, things with the timeline was changed. That's the whole thing. All the X-Men movies, the Wolverine movies kind of changed. That was the point. So.
I'm struggling with how they get rid of the second film.
Yeah, me too.
What do you mean? What the second Wolverine?
No.
Yeah, with Weapon X. Yeah.
I mean, to me, The first one still happened because when he wakes up at the end of the movie, he's integrated into the school. He's a teacher at the school.
Right.
So the first movie still technically happened.
He still gets the adamantium,
Yeah.
but it's just a ripple creates things, but that has to happen. That has to happen, or else the whole thing would be a paradox. Like, in other words, if Stryker died, that whole thing would be wiped because he wouldn't even, he would be canceling himself out.
Yeah, but it
And he
doesn't,
wouldn't,
if it's Stryker or whether it's Mystique is Stryker, as long as he gets adamantium.
he's going to get his adamantium.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
It's just by means of how, though. This is the Weapon X program or what? To be honest with you, that's what's confusing me. The alkali like business. And
Now, the one thing I have a question with, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Didn't he lose his adamantium in the Wolverine movie? At the end?
Is that the one that was in the Far East? Which one's that again?
Yeah. Well, didn't he lose his adamantium to the Silver Samurai? Didn't they take all the metal out of him?
Yeah, he did.
He did, right?
No, just the claws.
Just the claws, but the metal was still inside him?
The rest of the skeleton was still, but he cut his claws off.
Okay. So in other words, at the end of the movie, we see Magneto grab him, and he's talking to him, and he doesn't have metal claws, right? He has bone claws.
Right.
So how did he get the adamantium back?
Magneto could have done it. He could have made Magneto, drew some of the adamantium from his bones down and recoated the claws.
Okay.
But like I say, I'd like to know how Days of Future Past affects the Weapon X program. I'm struggling to work that one out.
Okay. Now, I wanted to talk about one thing, and that being the main object of this cast is wanted to explain certain things in reality, right? There are times in our lives that we need to take a step back. Whether we have a YouTube channel, whether we have stuff going on, most important thing is family. Family comes first. You know, we could have our channels, we could have things. Sometimes some of us take vacations, we go away from YouTube, okay? Or we slow down, okay? And that is cool. That is cool because, you know, sometimes you need a step away, okay? Life is so much more important beyond YouTube, all right? But for some, they can't step away, okay? And it becomes obsessive with some of these shows. Like, I could be a Star Trek fan, and I could walk away from it, and I can go back to it at any time. You know, Doctor Who fan, I'm with Doctor Who, it's off the air, okay, we're doing other things. But for some get so deep into it that they lose focus of what the show really is, okay? Now, I'm talking about a specific subject. I'm talking about Star Trek in general, okay? Fans could become very obsessed with Star Trek, so much so that they lose focus of what it was created to be, what it's supposed to be, and what it was turned into, and what it will become again when it's fixed. Okay, now, as a fan, I'm entitled to like a movie or dislike a movie, okay? If I disliked Into Darkness, out of every single movie that I've ever seen in Star Trek, like 20 million times each, whatever, okay? That's fine, and that's a good thing, okay? Because you can't like them all, okay? Maybe a movie burned you the wrong way, okay? It's totally against your principles based on your philosophy of when you saw Star Trek, okay? Maybe Insurrection.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Because maybe Riker and Deanna Troi should have got together like 15 years before that, or 10 years before that, and it was a crappy storyline to use them to get back together, and that was a plot that was supposed to be for the original Star Trek crew, about them becoming younger with the Fountain of Youth, that was reused because they have nothing else to talk about. That wasn't even the worst Star Trek movie, in my eyes, when Into Darkness came out, okay? Even Star Trek V, okay, where that went badly, where William Shatner and whatever vision happened, and he all of a sudden got crazy with the god, and Spock had a Cybok, a half-brother. That was crazy, but still, it wasn't the worst Star Trek movie. Okay,
Yeah, it wasn't
Into Darkness, in my eyes, okay, is the worst Star Trek movie in existence, and I will tell you why. Of my opinion, it is. Okay, if you're going to alter the timeline to make your vision prominent, okay, then do something original, do something never done, do something new, but don't for 1 minute take another writer's work, okay, steal from it, copy it, twist characters around, and reuse it, and think that it's going to taste the same. It's not going to taste the same, okay? Into Darkness could never be The Wrath of Khan. I don't care who you put in the movie, and yes, Benedict Cumberbatch was amazing, but he's not Khan. Sorry. He didn't have to be Khan. He could have been a terrorist. He could have been somebody. He didn't have to be Khan. There was no reason for that. No reason for that. And that whole 9/11 nonsense in the movie, that was not welcomed as far as I was concerned, especially since Gene Roddenberry's future should have nothing to do with 9/11 or terrorism or stuff like that. That was bad form, okay, and that was wrong, okay? You don't repeat the scene where Spock died, okay, and you twist it where Kirk dies. That is stealing, okay, somebody else's work because you can't do anything original. That is a remake or a reboot. And this was never intended to be a remake or reboot of Wrath of Khan, but it was. And this is why 99% of Star Trek fans rebelled against the movie, and the only reason that it did good was because of people who never saw Star Trek in their life went to see this movie, and overseas people saw this movie, that it made money where it wasn't an embarrassment, but it got punished with the sequel coming out because they didn't want to go out where that was the final movie before the 50th anniversary. So they gave a charity case where they gave us another movie in 2016, but with a lower budget. Okay, and that's terrible. So I'm just going to say that overall, it doesn't make me any less a Trekkie. It doesn't make me that I like Star Trek less. But right now, Star Trek's not here. Okay, Doctor Who's here. Everything's here. I don't hear anything about Star Trek. Okay, so I can't be every day glued to the screen talking about Star Trek if Star Trek is very rarely anything new is happening. Okay, it's not a TV series anymore. It's a movie. Okay, you know, people should be obsessed with Doctor Who if anything, because you know, I mean, it's still on the air. But like, I'm not. You can do whatever you want. But I'm just saying that for people to come out today and say bad mouth me and other people because of my, like saying I'm not a real Star Trek fan, or how dare I? Everybody can have an opinion. Let's get a life, like William Shatner said. Okay, go out there and do things with your life. And yes, you can watch Star Trek, but that's silly. And you have to look at it my perspective as a writer. I wouldn't want somebody taking my book and start doing something stupid with it, like in a movie that I want to prove, or to stealing stuff. That's plagiarism. So I'm surprised that they didn't get sued for stealing that. And almost word for word. Almost word for word. That's ridiculous. But anyway, that's my say. Now, Old Doc, did you see Into Darkness?
No.
Okay, good.
But I can tell you one thing. The only reason they didn't get sued is because Paramount owns both movies.
Mm-hmm.
If
There you
they
go.
didn't, they would have gotten sued. But I tell you, I think that the 2009 Star Trek, it left such a bad taste in my mouth. I didn't want to see it.
Same here. I didn't watch it because I didn't like the 2009 film. That was it with me and Abrams and Star Trek.
Right. See, the thing is this. You're trying to change Kirk's timeline completely, and then he's still the same person.
Well,
How is that
I'll say this much about Into Darkness, even though I didn't see it. If the point in the 2009 movie where history changes is when the Romulan freighter comes back, and into that battle, that changes it. then that doesn't make sense why Khan would be different, because he was born before that in the 1990s. He was an adult. So history should not have, the change in history should have no effect on him. He should be exactly as he was in the original series.
Right, exactly. And it's different. He's different nationality.
Yeah, I've heard that.
He also was present on the Botany Bay, yeah.
Right. You change the timeline, but not that far back. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I have a challenge. Okay? I challenge everybody to go see Into Darkness, and us come back, and we're going to review Into Darkness on a Star Trek cast. Okay? And we're going to do that with Into Darkness. All of us are going to watch it. And maybe in a couple of weeks we're going to do that with Daniel, because Daniel loves Star Trek. That's his favorite movie of all time. We're gonna do that, and Daniel's going to be the host of it.
Joe,
of the first Star Trek cast, and we're going to.
You're asking me to give up 2 years of my life I'll never get back, mate.
Yeah, I don't want to watch it. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to watch it.
Well, here's what I don't understand. Not having seen
could we pay, Monk? Could we pay you to do it?
Yeah,
could we pay you to do it, Monk?
If you pay me, I'll do it.
How much? How much?
$25.
To watch Into Darkness?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll chip in 2 seats. Yeah.
All right, let me see if I can do it. Yeah, all right, Greg? All right.
Do you take PayPal?
See that 50?
PayPal.
Oh, can you hear me?
You take layaway.
Can you hear me?
You take layaway.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I love all the Star Treks, man. I mean, I've seen it. I didn't hate it, but it's not, it's not like Star Trek to me, But as a sci-fi movie, it was all right. And again, Benedict Cumberbatch was cool. I liked him, but not as Khan.
Yeah,
That's what I don't understand. Not having seen it.
25 bucks isn't nearly enough. You should be demanding at least 50. I saw this movie. It was a steaming pile of crap.
Matrix Lord.
Yes, sir.
$85 for me.
Ooh, the bed's going.
Wow. Could I take the $25 that I'm going to win from Carol Ann for the Dunkin' Donuts thing and transfer for the Walking Dead? But no, I'm just kidding. All right, see what I'm saying? That's how.
85, can I get 100?
That's how much crap. And you know what? I wouldn't even spend $1 to have anybody watch that movie. That's how. Yeah.
Can I just ask a question? I don't understand exactly, and maybe Mike can answer this. Why did they do that? I mean, if you're setting up a new rebooted franchise or whatever, which I thought the first film was okay. Why copy the whole Khan thing?
That's the mystery of the universe type of thing. If they want to do their own universe, why are they going back and redoing?
Now, don't they have to redo the Search for Spock as well? I mean,
they can't.
As soon as the first film was released, people were commenting all over on the internet and everywhere. Now they got to do Khan. Now they got to do. Why?
That's what I'm saying.
And that's exactly what they did. But that's what the people were demanding now. And I have no idea why they were demanding that.
I think some people said it, but that's not the majority of Star Trek fans. I think they didn't want Khan.
The majority was disappointed with that whole aspect of it.
They didn't want Khan.
They didn't want a remake of The Wrath of Khan. That's what pissed people off, I think, like you said earlier.
Now, old Doc, you saw the 2009 Star Trek, right?
Yes.
Wasn't it all about Spock?
No, it was about the guy that's supposed to be Spock, but that's not any Spock irony.
But wasn't it mostly centered around Spock? The future Spock, the past Spock.
Okay, that was the poorest Star Trek movie ever to me because, first of all, the character of Spock acted nothing like Spock. Spock does not make out Lieutenant Uhura in the turbo lift. He's a Vulcan. I mean, that was not Spock. And it was Kirk to the nth degree, the worst aspects of Kirk made personified. It was not Star Trek. And also, I don't understand how history changed it all of a sudden. Chekhov is the same age as Sulu, and they were in the same class. And the most ridiculous thing, as a former United States Army officer. I don't care what mission he saved. You do not take someone out of the academy and promote them to captain.
Right.
That's like in the Army taking somebody out of West Point who's a cadet and going, okay, you're a full colonel. No. You got to work your way up through the ranks. You know, the best they could have done was graduate him early and make him an ensign. You don't promote him to captain of the Federation flagship. That's ridiculous.
He would never have been allowed in the academy because he committed a crime as a kid, stealing his stepfather's car.
Right.
Yeah, well, even if they didn't press charges on that, it's ridiculous that the guy goes to the academy, cheats with the Kobayashi Maru, which I know that was from the original series, but in reality, in the military, they're not going to let you get away with something like that.
Well, let me
And then-
finish your question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
No, I was done. Go ahead.
No, finish. No, finish and then I'll answer.
I don't remember what I was saying.
Okay.
And Captain Pike seems to recruit people by just going into bars. He just meets with it. He meets Kirk in a bar fight. Yeah.
Can I spoil Into Darkness a little bit?
It's pretty ruined.
Well,
Go for it.
No, nobody here wants to watch it anyway.
Yeah,
So.
no one wants to watch it. I'm not going to watch it. So.
I've seen it.
Kirk
so-
loses command of the Enterprise because he breaks the Prime Directive, and they make themselves known to these alien race that they're going to be worshiping the Enterprise like gods, like the spaceship and everything. It ruined the whole thing with the race, and now they're so thinking that they are gods to them when they're just advanced civilization. But he saves Spock. But the thing is, he loses the Enterprise, okay? And he only becomes captain when every single freaking person dies, and there's nobody left to be the captain of Enterprise, because he becomes the first officer to Pike, and then Pike dies, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's captain again.
Even that makes more sense than taking him out of the academy and making him an instant captain.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a line from an episode of The Love Boat. They asked the cruise director one time, a woman's liver come on, she asked the cruise director, Julie, she goes, will you ever be captain of this ship? And Julie says, yes, the minute everybody else in this crew drowns, I'll be the captain.
Right.
And it sounds like that's what happened to this new Kirk.
Right. And there won't be
But,
no
to
remake.
be fair, the James T. Kirk of the classic series did kind of view the Prime Directive as more of a suggestion than a hard and fast rule.
Yeah.
Right. Also, if I don't want to spoil Into Darkness for you, but Kirk dies, and they have to use Khan's blood to make him like a super soldier, like Captain America type or whatever, to
And I
heal
have
himself like Wolverine and just be alive
In essence,
again.
they use his blood like the
Yeah,
Genesis
and I
device.
have to throw this out here. That was also a major plot hole because, oh my god, we can't kill Khan. Never mind the other 95 freaking Khans that they've got in tubes that they could have used.
Right.
It was just badly written on top of it.
So now, basically, Kirk is Wolverine. Because he should be. If the blood is running through him, he should be strong like Khan right now. So he should be Super Kirk. And you also should have a Super Tribble, because they injected the Tribble with Khan blood and it came back to life. So,
Yeah, I'll give you that much.
So they cured death.
yes.
No
cured
one needs to die in the future anymore because now
Oh my
they're not
God.
bringing people back to life.
Stephen Moffat can take over now.
Yes. There are so many bad things with Into Darkness that it's not even worth being reviewed. That is true. Because none of my panel, I can never force my panel to watch the movie. They won't even take money value. That's how bad the friggin' movie is. Okay, so we're going to have to do it without them seeing it. But I'm going to say that if you're going to do something original and you're going to make a statement that you're going to change the whole universe to do it, then do something original and don't become a hypocrite.
I'm with Old Dog though. They've just crapped all over Spock. To be honest with you.
Yep.
And that is why when Star Trek goes back on TV, this timeline will have never existed. It will be erased, and they will continue from Voyager, because you're not going to throw out decades of continuity because of stupid trilogy of movies. Okay, the TV show is more powerful than the movies. So guess what? The timeline's going to be reverted back, and it's going to continue from Voyager, and that's where it's going to be.
Matrix Lord, have you seen that little skit that Star Trek the Phase 2 did about the restoring the timeline?
No. Tell
I
me.
suggest you go on YouTube
Yes.
and watch that. Star Trek Phase 2, Restoring the Timeline.
I will watch that because
And
real short, and real good.
yeah, it's only like a minute. But if anybody misses Star Trek, the real Star Trek, I would recommend Star Trek Continues. There's only 3 episodes out so far, but that is the most true to the original series thing I've ever seen. And it's really good. The first episode deals with them encountering Apollo again, and it's the same actor that played Apollo in the original series. The second episode deals with the Orion slave trade and the green slave women. And the third episode shows what happened in the mirror universe after our Kirk and company went back and the evil Kirk came.
Chris Doohan, James Doohan's son plays Scotty.
I was going to say, is that the one with James Doohan's son?
How about this? I'm going to watch it, and then we're going to do a follow-up on it.
And
That's
Apollo.
something we should do a Trekcast on. Star Trek Continues.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
It's almost, the production qualities are equal to the original series, and about 10 minutes into it, you'll forget that the actors aren't the originals.
Yep.
Old Doc, could you send me the link to it?
Yeah. Jimmy,
Okay.
Jimmy sent the link.
Jimmy?
Jimmy's got it ready.
You put it in the chat.
Yeah, let me go to YouTube to get it.
But all 3 episodes are available on YouTube in their entirety.
I will take your advice, and I will definitely see that tonight.
Yeah. You'll enjoy
Absolutely.
it. And each episode is about 50 minutes long.
Right. And you know, another thing, too, is that some of these new fans, they're not familiar with the old classics. And there should not be no battles among the two. I mean, you know, we all could learn from each other, okay? And our Star Trek experience could be so much better if we just listen once in a while. Like, I'm listening to Old Doc. He knows best with this. He's telling me how good it's going to be. I believe him, and I'm going to watch it. And I suggest others do that too. You know? And that's it, man.
And you know, if you're a new Star Trek fan and you're not really familiar with the classic Star Trek, give it a chance.
Yeah.
Give it a chance because you might find you like it better. You know, there's a reason it's been around for all these years.
When we watched it continues and everything else. Star Trek Continues and Star Trek Phase 2.
Star Trek Phase 2, yeah.
Yeah, they're both good. Continues is a little bit better.
Now, what is
Continues
this with this other? What is this thing I'm hearing about Star Trek Renegades? Is that good or is that just nonsense?
I don't know.
That's
I
the Tim, what's his face one? The two
Tim Ross and Chekhov, Walter Koenig, right? I don't know about that. All right.
But I would say watch Star Trek Continues first before you watch Phase 2. Because Star Trek Continues, you will honestly think you're back in the 60s watching lost episodes of Star Trek.
Now, another thing I wanted to bring up, too, is, you know, every Star Trek show doesn't have to be the same show. That's the purpose of diversity, okay? Next Generation is not going to be the classic series. It's a whole generation after that, okay, with different technology, different people. By no means did they try to recreate Kirk, right, Old Doc? Did you watch Next Generation? It was a different show.
Started out, the first thing they said was 78 years have passed.
Yeah, they paid homage to what episodes like Naked Now, didn't they, and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah, but it's like comparing now to what the world was like 78 years ago. It's not going to be the same.
But it became respected, and people loved it. They had its own fan following where it got its own movies and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So
that's because
I honestly think that
they built on it with the Next Generation. They didn't try to tear down the original to build up with the next, like they're doing with these movies. Trying to go back and tear it down and make everything cool with a K. No.
Right. Even Deep Space Nine had its own thing, and you know, Voyager. Now, I wasn't really crazy about Enterprise, but everything had its own It was separate. It wasn't like had to be a copy of anything. You know, that's what the movies tried to be. They tried to copy what they thought was best from Star Trek, and they screwed it up. And they also tried to make a new timeline.
I don't understand why it's so hard for them to come up with a decent Star Trek television series, since they did 3 of them at the same time in the 90s, pretty much. And at the same time, movies were going on as well. I mean, late 80s, early 90s. So why is it so hard for them to come up with a decent Star Trek television series that, you know, captures the spirit of what the original was, you know?
Because I think that the problem when they came out with Enterprise is it was run by the same people that had done Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager, and they were just burned out. They had run out
Gene
of
Roddenberry was a part of the Next Generation.
Yeah, but he was dead by the time of Enterprise. Right, but I'm just talking about by the time they got to Enterprise, they had pretty much done every story they could think of. There are episodes of Voyager which are basically recycled scripts from the Next Generation, and it's just they had just run out of ideas, and Star Trek really needed rest.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
But I don't think they should have gone the movie route with a whole new Kirk and everything. I would have just let it lay dormant for maybe a decade and then tried to bring it back. And my biggest problem with Enterprise, to bring that up, is the NX-01 looked more advanced than NCC-1701. It should have looked more primitive than the original
There was
series.
the timeline. There was no NX-01 according to the Star Trek motion picture because Kirk had showed all the ships. They showed all the Enterprise ships ever, and there was not one mention of NX-01. So
but there was a
supposedly
reason
the time.
Supposedly because that's why they didn't put USS on it. It wasn't a USS Enterprise. It was just Enterprise.
Okay. Well, still.
That's just a little technicality, but that's how they.
All right, Dan. We're gonna. Yeah. And also a Vulcan first officer, which, come on. But I'm not going to go there tonight. On that note, we will continue with the Star Trek discussion, but in a Star Trek cast, actually. And for now, we might come back with real movies later. All right. So, thank you guys. Appreciate it. And look out for that soon. All right. Take care. Bye for now.
Yeah,
Long far all the way, baby.